So in this lesson, we are looking at how to use the device's camera to take pictures that can be then stored or used by our app or shared on social media or whatever it is that you want to do with it. Right? And sometimes taking a picture or being able to capture picture data is an essential feature for your app. So we're going to get started by looking at how to set up the camera and then how to store the information that you have, and then we're just going to display it back so that the user can see the picture that they've taken. So to get started, I just went ahead and started a new project, and I called it Take Picture over here. And I'm going to get rid of this Hello World over here. Oh, I'm trying to delete the wrong thing. That's bad. Okay. So our app is going to have two controls. We're going to have an image view that we're going to use to display the picture that the user has taken. I'm just going to rename that to photo. And then we're also going to need a button. And so when we click the button, this is what's going to launch our camera. Right? And so I'm going to rename this. We're going to change the text to Take Picture. And then this is going to be my picture button. Great. Okay, so if you don't like this theme and I don't want this bar at the top, I'm going to go ahead and change this to something else. Something that doesn't have the bar at the top. There we go. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to our project tree and we're going to open the Android manifest. We have a couple of permissions and things that we need to add in, and they're going to go right up here above the application tag. Make sure you're not putting these inside of the application tag. So the first thing we're going to do is set up a uses permission, and our Android name is android.permission.camera. And camera is in all caps, so be very careful when you're typing these that you are getting the case right, because in these XML files, the Android Studio won't always tell you if you have them wrong. It will just fail in your application. So this one's going to be a uses feature, and the uses feature tags are really just for, well, they're for the store mostly, but it also tells the hardware set, it tells the OS that we're going to be using a particular feature. And so our Android name is android.hardware.camera. And you know, it's real confusing that this one's all in lowercase. And then our last one is going to be permission to write to the storage. So this is going to be a uses permission, and it's going to be Android permission dot write external storage, all in caps. Make sure that you're not doing something weird there and screwing up your tags like I'm trying to do right now. Okay, so you should have all three of those in your manifest up here in between the start of the manifest tag and your application section. Okay, next we're going to come over to our main activity. I'm going to do all of this in the main activity. Of course, you could always launch another activity to grab the camera data and do something with it, but we're just going to stay in the main activity for this demonstration. So I'm going to set up two variables up here. The first one is going to be a request code, and it's just easier to set these up in these kind of static variables so that we can use them over and over again. So this is going to be protected static final int. I'm going to call it capture image activity request code. All right, our second one that we're going to set up here is the image URI. So it's going to be URI, I'm going to name it image URI. And you'll need to go ahead and import in the URI library. But the image URI, like I talked about in the lesson, well, I guess that was a previous lesson, not the current lesson, is a path, and it's all of the information we need to figure out where we have stored this particular image. So now that we have those two set up, we are going to come down and create a method that will be our click event for our button. So this is going to be public void. Boy, my system is lagging hard today. I've got about a million things open. Take picture, whatever you want to name it there. All right, I'm going to implement a view so that I can attach that to my button. I can go ahead and import in your view library. Now, when we click the button, we want the camera to open so that the user can take a picture, and then they're going to get the context buttons automatically at the bottom that say yes, accept, or cancel. So we're going to set up, the first thing we're going to do is create the intent to use the camera. And remember, I talked about in the lesson, we really don't want to reinvent the camera. You can, but you already have so many other applications on your device that are set up to use the camera. So we can just set up our intent to kind of hijack that. That's the worst way to say it ever. So our intent, I just named it intent, is a new intent. And we're going to use media store dot action image capture. All right, so that's our intent and what we want to tell our application that we're doing. And get some more space here. All right, the next thing we have to do is set up that image URI that we declared up above. So our image URI is going to equal a URI dot from file. All right, so we're going to create a new file in the storage system, right? And so we access the storage system, and I'm just importing these as I go, is environment, if I could spell environment, dot get external storage directory. Boom. Then you have to give it a unique file name, and you don't want to hard code a file name in here unless you're just doing that for testing purposes. It's best to have some kind of auto generation sequence pattern so that as your files get created, they'll all get different names. And so I'm going to do photo underscore. Let's see, I'm going to concatenate some stuff together here. So we'll add in a plus, and I'm going to have to line wrap this. Let's do milliseconds. So we can do string dot value of system dot current time in millis. All right, let's watch our parentheses here. Plus, and then we'll give it a dot JPEG extension. Right, and then boom, boom, end of line. So that has set up our image URI file name to be photo underscore the time in milliseconds dot JPEG. Right? So we should always get a unique and random file name. So we're going to add this into our intent, right? So we're going to add the image URI to the intent, right? So we use our intent dot put extra, and this is going to be Android dot provider dot media store dot extra output. You got to watch the casing on these. There we go. Yeah, it just went ahead and concatenated that all up for me. And then it's image URI that we are adding into the extra data section. So then we've got it all set up. Now you can start the activity. So start activity for results. And we're starting our intent. and then we want that capture image activity request code. So we can check whether or not this activity did what it was supposed to do or crashed and burned. So you'll want to go ahead and build at this point, make sure you don't have any errors. And we never set the take picture method here up to our button. So let's take a moment to go ahead and do that so that you can test and make sure that everything works to this point. So you'll click on your button, you'll come down here to the on-click event, and you'll select the take picture method. Now you should be able to go ahead and run and test your application. When you click take picture, the camera application should open. I'm going to go ahead and run real quick on my Android, make sure that things are working the way that they're supposed to. So when I launch the app and I click take picture, it does work as expected. I get the camera view. I can click the picture button and it captures the photo, and I get the context menu at the bottom, which gives me a check, which says yes, okay, I want to keep this picture. The X is cancel, I don't want to take a picture, and the little undo on the left takes me back to the camera view so I can retake the picture if I'm not happy with it. Now at this point, if you click OK, we didn't do anything with the data that we have collected in our take picture method. So check out the next video in this section of the lesson or on the playlist if you're on YouTube, and I will show you how to catch the on-activity result and pull that URI out of where you've saved it and then display it in our image view.